Hey y'all, I'm back, Annie. I'm back for us to talk more about Real Housewives of Atlanta. And it's just been a few things that's been going on. So if you're new to the channel, hey, make sure you're coming into the video, you're liking the video, you're commenting, subscribing, and also sharing the video. Okay. Just a few random topics that we're gonna get into with Real Housewives of Atlanta. First of all, a lot of people have been dragging Phaedra because they feel as though the ratings were down because of Phaedra. All right. I don't know. I mean, everybody gonna feel and believe what it is that they want to believe. Similar to people wanting to believe that Candiace Dillard was fired over there on Real Housewives of Potomac, and then a lot of us don't believe that at all, right? So you got some people that believe the ratings are down because of Phaedra. Then you got some that feel like, I mean, how y'all gonna blame it on Phaedra when she came in the last few minutes of the damn episode, right? But girl, the people gonna do what they want to do anyway, child, because that's just how they is, all right? Miss Phaedra coming in towards the end, they also gave her a tagline. Real Housewives of Atlanta, you guys have been a bit tacky this season. I have to say, it's just been real interesting. It's been a bit tacky this season. Not you done got Kenya out. Kenya couldn't even have an intro at all because she showed pictures of somebody that y'all didn't even display. Y'all didn't even show us what was shown. You didn't give Kenya a tagline. You didn't give her a spot on the cast, photos. Like the way that you guys handled Kenya made me feel like there's an issue that you guys have, all right? And this was you guys' way of getting your lick back with her. And yes, she did make it easy a bit for you guys to give her that lick back. But then to just bring Phaedra on when she has like her intro or whatever the case it is with Married to Medicine. She's not even going to be here that long. And you allow her to get a tagline, be in the cast photos. Hell, I think, didn't they even let Cynthia be a part of the cast photos? Like, it's just been a mess. It's been a mess. And now I know for me, I never really thought that Brit Eady really had the attorneys to get Kenya up off the show. Right. A lot of people were saying that, oh, she had the money. She had a big, it was her attorney. She had the coin. She got some sharks, some beasts as attorneys that, had a conversation with Bravo and shut Kenya down. No, I think this was all about money. In my personal, I think it was all about money. I think that Kenya, with this cast, was likely the highest paid housewife. And she gave them the opportunity to sit her down. So they sat her down and they're likely going to divide up that check in some capacity or hold on to it. Who knows, right? But I think that it was more so money. And the reason why I say that is because just last week, right, we did see an episode of Brit Eady and, how things went crazy at that tacky event that she had for Bare Naked. And what ended up happening was the event decorator, not to be mistaken for a planner, came out to pretty much call Miss Eady out and say, girl. No, ma'am, what you're not going to do is try and put all of this off on me when it wasn't. Okay. And speaking of that, let's get into the $1,700 that you owe me. So the lady was very clear, right? She was only there to decorate the space. That was it. Put a little flowers on the table here, there, let me do a few of those things. And that's it. And I'm out. Right. I may help you make a menu over here or over there, but as far as who's supposed to be fed, who's not supposed to be fed, that's not my job. That's not my task. That's solely on you, and that's your fault. All right. That news ended up, coming out, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. If she could barely pay this lady $1,700, and this event took place not too long after the Kenya Moore situation went down, then why y'all want me to believe that she had all of this money to get these amazing attorneys to go over to Bravo and say, hey, whatever? I don't believe it. Nah, I don't believe it. Okay, just like Bravo is trying to hold on to a little bit of the money, it's given that's the same thing that Miss Eady may be doing as well, holding on to a little bit of the money. All right. There's been more things that has come out as well, and I want to get to this video with Giorgio Says, where he kind of goes into detail about her husband. I do believe. I think that they may be on his head top just a little bit because it seems like he was supposed to pay some things. So let us slide over here and get into what Giorgio had to say.
Brit, can you just pay this event decorator her $1,700 so we can move on? Now, I know I already talked about this, but there's an actual legal letter from a lawyer to Brit from Bella, the owner of the event company, asking for this money. So as you guys can see, this letter from the law offices of Taylor Murray sent Miss Eady this letter explaining that she still owes Bella $1,750 because the total amount for this event was $3,500. And Bella did provide me with some screenshots of the text message correspondence around this event. And Brit clearly says, we need to only have small plates for guests. I can't afford entrees. Tragic. Brit then went on to say it would be cutting too much into the budget if she fed entrees to all of the 20 other guests outside of the Housewives. It's also very clear that Brit has never thrown an actual event before because treating your event decorator like she's the actual coordinator is wild. And based on this message from Bella, the short notice piece is probably why they couldn't reserve any private space, so they were left with what they were gonna get. But what about the Jumpstart agency, Brit? I mean, honestly, it would have been like 3 of these master classes you would have to sell with a couple add-ons, and you could have easily paid Bella back. From rags to rags, baby. You might need to ask for a pay advance on one of your Bravo checks, Brit.
Whoa, the violence that has been chosen is crazy, okay? But that's not all, okay? Because the portion that I really wanted us to get into was the portion about her husband. So
Please,
we
Brit,
are
if you're
going to check that out. So let me get that up on the screen for you guys. And let's see what's happening here.
Well, geez, Brit, if you were going to skip out on the entire tab at the country club, at least you could have just gone ahead and fed the whole room. Actually, the country club filed a civil lawsuit against Mike for skipping out on the tab. A little birdie did tell me this morning that there was an actual document out there that did show that the country club did in fact go after Mike for that event that we just watched. That was horrendous, but I guess they felt like they didn't need to pay for it. So here's the document, and you'll notice that the date of the event coincides with Bella's text messages. The dates all around that coincide with this. This is obviously the event that we saw. It was a golf event, they called it, and a banquet. Okay, so it was about almost 10 grand worth of services and food, and now there's some interest added. So we're looking at about 10K that they skipped out on. And this document does show that on December 3rd, someone went to go serve Mike, but he wasn't home, and whoever was home, they suspect would be his wife, but she refused to provide a name. So not only do you owe Bella and Infinity Events $1,750 that you have yet to respond to her request for payment, you now have this side of it where you have the country club that you did not privately reserve the space. You added more plates, but only to the media and bloggers that were sitting at the table because you didn't want them to write anything horrible about your event. And then you just go ahead and skip on out. You don't even pay for it. You're just like, whatever. Now, there's no other documents that give any further updates to this situation, so I'm not sure if Mike reached out to the country club directly and worked it out, but there's nothing outside of these documents around this situation. I mean, if you're broke, just say that.
Not if you broke, just say that. Listen, can I say this? Okay, let me say this. One that is embarrassing, I will say. I feel like, Brit, there are a lot of spaces that will allow you to have up to 20 people or so in their building, event spaces, I do mean, and you are aware, I'm sure, that could have put together a really nice event for you. They would have decorated it for you, likely fed everyone, and you didn't really have to have media or bloggers to make it appear as though, like, oh, I'm this big stuff, people like me, whatever the case is. You could have just really did it with the cast intimately, as Porsha did, especially since you're showing off intimates or whatever the case is, right? So it could have been something very exclusive amongst you guys, maybe a friend of two of yours, maybe theirs or something. Like, it just could have been better well put together. And some of these people that will put together events, like you may see flyers or something on Instagram where women will put together like a baby shower. They'll do a whole baby shower for you with oh so many people, catering, whatever, and it may be like $3,000 or $2,500 or whatever the case is, right? even if they didn't cover food and they just gave you the venue for oh so many hours and decorated it, that probably would have been maybe 1,500, maybe 2,000. It wouldn't have been as much, right? So she could have did a very well, way better. She could have just did a better event. And I think the first thing that went wrong was her misunderstanding the duties of the event decorator. All right. I think, yeah, she must not have thrown events before to really know. So I think that's where she may have messed up first. But I will say that $10,000 that they, racked up over there at the country club, I'm not gonna lie, it is a bit questionable because my thing is, if it was never booked privately and it was still open for other people to come in and do as they will, then I'm confused as to why is the amount $10,000. Just a little bit, okay? Maybe it costs oh so much to prepare the meals for those, for the castmates. Maybe that's what it was, from the meals to maybe the country club was open, but maybe just a little space that they booked. Maybe that was the cost. So there are some things that's questionable. Like I would feel a way if I got to pay 10 racks for something and it's not adding up as far as like, well, why was it open to everybody? If I'm paying $10,000 for anything, it needs to be private. Okay. I'm not trying to have my stuff when everything else is open, unless, there's a separate room that is only for me and my people. So something about that is a bit questionable, but, maybe they owe something. Maybe it's not 10,000. Maybe the total ended up being 10,000 after not receiving the money after oh so long. Maybe there was interest added of some fashion. But either way, it's not a good look for Miss Brit. Brit, you have had a very tough, rough, not so great season, and it has not helped with people trying to get to know you at all, your personality, none of that. It's just been a bummer for you. All right. I don't even know if Bravo is going to bring her back. I feel like they might. Right? I feel like they might because they may like her and they may continue to force her on the people. But then I don't know. But good luck. All right. Good luck to Miss Eady and whatever may work out for her. Next up, I want us to tap into Shamia because Shamia does talk about the situation with her inviting Drew's husband inviting her out for a sit down to talk about a podcast that never was, never will. And she also inviting Porsha along for that. And I want us to just listen to what it is Shamia had to say.
Porsha made a very big deal about Drew hanging out with Dennis, her ex. What do you think about Porsha then filming with Drew's ex, Ralph? I think we know what Shamia thinks.
I think it's okay. I'm the one that invited her.
Yeah.
It was just a dinner. Disclaimer that we were all at. I just felt like I needed a witness so that everyone knows that Ralph and I were not on a date. Mm-hmm. Ralph and I have worked together in the past. I hosted a podcast. It was like The Real Husbands of Atlanta with Todd, Candy's husband, and it was strictly business, helping a friend out. I'm still married. There's no interest there for me. So I needed it to be very clear. That's why I brought Porsha along. And then, I let her get her a little lick back.
Yeah. Porsha made a very big deal about...
So that is what Shamia said. I'm glad she went ahead and kept it honest on the back end, saying that she let Porsha get her lick back because Porsha was feeling a way about Drew filming with her baby daddy, ex-fiance, never husband. And she decided to, hey... now it's your turn to film with him, and now it's your turn to ask all kind of questions. And so when people see stuff like this, Shamia, it just makes people feel like when Porsha has poor behavior, you support. You support all of it. And and I feel like, some friends are gonna support a lot, but then at the same time you don't have to. But it just makes us question how much of Porsha's bad behavior have you supported and encouraged. But aside from that, some people did get in the comments, they had a lot of things to say. About Shamia. Shamia did respond in the comments and says, OMG, it was a joke, guys. Like, pretty much let it go. All right. So that is what Miss Shamia had to say about that. And another thing, before we get up out of here, is I'm chit-chatty patty. As they were talking about the ratings and things for the previous episode, Jalen Banks, and that is the now husband to Miss Fallon Pina. he got down in the comments and said that, you know, if his wife was on the show, it would really shake the table or whatnot. He says the problem wouldn't be the views if Fallon was on the show. And, you know, Fallon came and she, you know, put her post up and says, you know, give the viewers what they're asking for. All right. Because if I come and when I come, I'm going to be coming with receipts. And I think that she would want to come to confirm that Porsha had been messing with her husband. Okay. So let me tell y'all what I find to be very funny. You know, a lot of people will say about Fallon, like, oh, you know, y'all rag on Porsha because she got with that lady husband, but Fallon was cheating with that man and she had a baby by the guy that was working for her and whatever the case. But what y'all have to also understand is that it doesn't rule out the activity and what it is that Simon was already doing. And I feel like that is what Fallon is saying. Like, when I come, I'm gonna bring receipts. Like, we even heard Dennis sit down and say that Simon approached him in January asking about Porsha, and this was like months before they announced their engagement or whatever the case was. People were piecing together videos, pictures and stuff and identifying timelines of when those two were allegedly together or whatnot. And I just also feel like, you know, to me, Porsha slick ducked the fade a little bit. When it came to really opening up about that relationship, she left the show to where the ladies couldn't question her about it. And she had her own show where she kind of like controlled a good bit of it. And her family, even though they were looking at her sideways, they just really went along with a lot of it. Whereas Fallon came out, she did an interview. She said what she needed to say. All right. Porsha returns to the show and still not really open to talk about, you know, what all happened with her and Simon or any of that. Whereas a Fallon seems to be running to, okay, she's not ducking the fade. She's like, I'll give you the information, okay? I'll let y'all know what it is that I know. And so I just feel like, you know, when I look at how both of the ladies handled the situation, it is a bit interesting, just a piece to me, okay? Because Fallon has always been available, open, and ready to talk. Okay. So that's that. But Fallon, you know, if you guys were to get on the show, y'all are going to have to address the situation of Jalen going on a television show trying to say, I'm not a television show, but more so a podcast, and trying to say that, you know, you groomed him or whatever it was, you know, saying certain things. And granted, I did take it as, oh, you trying to get her back because you in your feelings about something or whatever. So he would say things about her. I think she may have said a few things about him, but you guys would have to address the things that you've said in your own interviews and how y'all got to the place of getting in a better place to where you're now married with another child. Because at one point, Jalen was trying to get full custody of his daughter. Okay. So I do remember that, but I guess, you know, at some point they were able to, you know, figure it out and work it out. And here we are. All right. But let me know your thoughts. Okay. Would you much rather see Fallon on Real Housewives over Miss Eady? Okay. Well, you know, rumor has it both of their last name Eady, and they're likely related to each other. All right. But I would need more confirmation. However, all right. Which one would you rather see? Fallon? Would you rather see Brit? I know some of y'all gonna say neither, so I'm not even gonna give you the option, baby. You have to choose between one or the other. Period. Whose storyline would you feel would be more entertaining for you? Let me know your thoughts and comments down below, honey. That's all that I have. I'm Jami, that's me. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share my videos. You can follow me on Instagram and on Twitter at Jami, that's me. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Tell him I preach to the choir. Stand with my feet to the fire. Give all the glory to God. Stand in the midst of these haters. I'm silent. Nobody can stop me. Just gotta check in my notification. Them numbers hit like it's a proxy. Cash died at the ATM. And the ATL, they done made a gym. I've been kicking doors like the ATL. Got them trying to clone me like Aegis. Game time, I invaded gym. High elevated, I can face the rim. Putting shots up. I got laser focus, about to take it over. I'm Invader Zim. On a trip to Florida like it's A&M. Who that nigga, man? They say I'm him. Spit the truth, never wasting film. I can feel it pull